Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and I'm here to review VHS 85, and this is the latest in the VHS franchise, these found footage made-for-TV documentaries on these home videos that wind up creating a collection and these horror anthologies, and this time we're going back to 1985, and this feels very 80s, very much captures that home video kind of feel, and leverages it for some disgusting and gruesome kills along the way. Now, this has a really talented collection of directors from Scott Derrickson, David Bruckner, Natasha Kermani, Mike P. Nelson, and Gigi Sol Guerrero. And I think the ones that really stood out to me, Scott Derrickson's Dream Kill, is really unnerving, and how this film leverages the 80s, whether it's like they're these 80s style newscasts, or you have these like home videos of like going out to the lake, or this one in particular, it's like this virtual reality look like Tron kind of thing. All of that really works and captures the period dynamic of this film. There's some loose connections between some of these stories in particular, including a shooting at a lake and an undead shootout at a home, have these really unnerving and uncomfortable connections to them. Overall, though, I feel like the connective tissue that brings us together, I feel like some of that's muddled in the way that the storytelling expresses how we're going from one story to the next. And I feel like there's some cleaner ways to be able to handle that in particular. And with this one, for sure, feels messy in how it's all brought together. And sometimes it's hard to differentiate when you're transitioning between some of the stories. But it's an interesting mix of like cultural things, because Gigi Sol Guerrero's story really has this like deeply, I think, Aztec kind of spirit to it in this Mexican story. And it goes to some really creepy and unnerving places in terms of how it shows, like, goes from this disaster of like this earthquake and then digging deep into the ground underneath and unearthing some unfortunate and creepy things along the way. And it's one of those kinds of things where this film definitely builds tension. It also delivers a variety of unique kills and some mystery, honestly. There's a detective story at one point that is pretty shocking and unnerving at moments. I think this is definitely on the higher end in terms of these VHS films, up there with, I think it was 94 was the one that really stood out. And I think going back in time, I think it's really capturing a thread that you're able to balance that nostalgia, that period display, and leveraging that home video aspect to create some really tense and unnerving stories. And this is another strong entry into this horror franchise, just in time for the Halloween season. But those are my thoughts on VHS 85. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.